Happy Sunday. How is everybody? You having a good time? You having a good Sunday? Is it a blessed Sunday for each and every one? Can you hear me okay? Oh, why am I down here? Hello. Don't know how to turn these camera things off. Oh, Kay's here. Hello, Michelle Leofario. I've been playing with a song, and I can't guarantee it's going to be perfect. Please forgive me for my imperfections. But I think even though it won't be perfect, I think you'll get some enjoyment from it. When you try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you cannot sleep. Stuck in reverse. When the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can replace. When you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And high above and down below, when you're too in love to let it go. You'd ever try, then you'll never know. Just what you're worth. Lights will guide and I will try to fix you. Tears streaming down your face when you lose something you can't replace. Tears streaming down your face, and tears stream down your face, and I promise you I will learn from my mistakes. Tears streaming down your face, and lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Thank you for listening. Well, good morning. And a blessed Sunday to each and every one of you, fellow sensitive people. How are you? Do tell how you are. I am well. I had food poisoning Friday night. Friday night, I had food poisoning. Yes. It continued on into Saturday morning. So alas, I had to end the stream early. And for that, I sincerely apologize. Hopefully the sound was okay. I never know how the sound, I'm trying to get, I guess this is one of those vocal microphones where you have to be like 2 inches. Yeah, I ordered some chicken I ordered soup. It was a coconut soup from a Japanese restaurant that had chicken in it, but the chicken looked like they had used old chicken. Like it was hard and it looked like they had used old teriyaki chicken and they needed to use it up, so they threw it in the soup. That's what I ate it thinking, well, that's kind of tastes hard. It doesn't taste fresh. It was hard pieces like it'd been sitting in the freezer for a while or the refrigerator. I'm very, very sensitive. Bad chicken made me sensitive. So I woke up that morning, got violently sick, and then came on at 11 a.m. and said, I'll have some tea. I'll get through this. And I did not get through it. I was trying to push through. And at one point I said, I'm going to go be sick, so I'm going to end this stream. And then I ended the stream and ran to the bathroom, and the rest is history. Too much information. Well, this is our Sunday get together. As you can see, I'm in a different chair. This is the, excuse me, the office chair. There's a lot of dust over here. I did some deep dusting. I have my air filter on, and the new chair is being built today. I'm getting ready for my trip to London on the 21st with my good friend Chuck, who's also the assistant for the show. Unfortunately, we don't seem to be able to bring Joel along. That would be rather fun if we were able to bring the floor director. I think we're going to spend about 4 days in London. Then we're going to head out to Manchester. We're going to see the Lake District, spend a day at the Lake District. And then after that, we don't know. We genuinely don't know. We're thinking either Spain or France for 5 days. Madrid is known for its tapas, small plates, excuse me, and the south of France is known for. I'm not crazy about French food. I think it's a little bit too. I prefer Spanish. I like Mediterranean food. I like Greek food. Love Israeli. Israeli is my favorite food. You had a bad piece of chicken, Rose Blue? You ralphed and dry heaved for 8 hours. Yeah, that sounds like norovirus or E. coli or salmonella. I've been to Ireland. I've already seen it. I have not seen Scotland. We thought we might go to Scotland, but it's the same distance if we go to the south of France. It's the same amount of money. Oh, thank you, Kay. That's very kind. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. Whatever we do, I'm sure it'll be beautiful. You guys can certainly participate in helping us decide where to go. If we go to Madrid, we'll be able to see the Prado Museum. I know many of you are actors. And so that is really cool. Sorry. I know many of you are artists and performers and those types of people. So I assume you would want to go to Madrid to see the Prado. Chuck has not seen the Prado Museum. We've both seen Paris and we've both seen the Louvre, which is lovely, but it's a tourist trap also. Yeah, so that's the story and the glory. And Ricola. Yeah, the older I get, the worse my allergies. I never had them when I was a kid. It's really hard to place the camera because yeah, it's got so many. If you put the thing there, it pushes buttons. And the next thing you know, you've done crazy things with your buttons when all you're trying to do is to attach the. Anyway, France is nicer than Madrid. Well, this would be Nice. We'd be going to Nice. I like the market in Madrid and I like trying the tapas. But I guess, yeah, they probably have a market in Nice. You know, whatever they want to do. All right. So the first thing we're talking about, I thought it would be fun if we talked a little bit about the fact that Donald Trump was on a phone call to Modi. Right? Trump was a what do you think's going on? Joel, don't give the answer away. Don't let the floor director spoil the answer. What's happening? Why would Musk be on a phone call between Modi and Trump about the Iran war? What do you guys think is happening? You know more than 99.9% of the population. You know more than the New York Times, evidently. Think about that. You found out the truth from a card reader because you couldn't get it from CNN. What does that say about the state of news today? You think Elon's laughing his head off about it? Yes. You didn't get the truth from the New York Times. You didn't get it from The Guardian. You didn't get it from Fox. You didn't get it from MSNBC or whoever. You got it from a card reader. The question is, why was Musk on a phone call with Modi? What do you think's happening? Without Joel giving the answer away. What's happening, babes? You're smart people. You're smart, smart, smart people. What do you think's going on? Why did that conversation happen? trying to find out how for some reason, I'm struggling here. Okay. Why is it doing that? I honestly don't know how to do this. All of a sudden, I'm having trouble controlling my, stream here. Nope, nope, that's not it. Something's going on here that I'm struggling with. I can't do this. I don't know what's happening. Don't know what's going on here. Can't use this thing. Cannot use this. I don't know how to do this. It's not cooperating. Oh my gosh. Slides, PDFs, image file. That's not what I want. Extra camera. That's not what I want. Slides and PDFs. Your computer. Oh, let's try that. Upload from computer. No, that's not it. Shoot. I'm trying to do. I'm not being allowed to do. Don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what's going on. Ah, here it is. My apologies. What's happening? What's happening? Why is Modi on a call with Donald Trump and Elon Musk? What's the deal? What's the deal? Does this look familiar to you? Let's try something else. Because this is a conversation. That's why we're having it. Having this conversation to empower people and to get them past propaganda and politics. Here is Iran. Here is India. What's this? Strait of Hormuz. So we have a new trade route. Is that correct? Does India want to be part of the Abraham Accords? What is blocking Indian trade to the rest of the Middle East? Who is responsible for the fact that India is being locked out? We've got a border with Pakistan, which is questionable. They're going to fire nuclear weapons at Kashmir. Kashmir is going to fire nuclear weapons at Pakistan. We have Afghanistan attacking from the mountains on the western and southwestern sides, attempting to enter into Islamabad. Why is that a security issue? What happens if the Taliban gets nuclear weapons? What's the difference between what's the how many miles or kilometers between Kabul and Islamabad? Is Iran sending military help to Afghanistan? What's this doing for security in India? So again, why is Elon Musk on a phone call with Modi and Trump? Iran is firing on United Arab Emirates. Here's Dubai. Here's Qatar, which would like to see the West fall. They are also a threat. Here's Bahrain, which has also joined the Abraham Accords. Here's Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, also being fired on. Kuwaiti oil fields, right? So this whole area is at the mercy of who? Iran. Because Iran covers the Straits of Hormuz, right? So if we go to look at the Straits of Hormuz, where are the Straits of Hormuz? Do you see this? What do we need from India? And why is Elon on the phone? We need troops. Which troops? If India wants to join the new trade route, and India is tired of this tension with Iran that is blocking trade out of the Strait of Hormuz, then what is the solution? You got to take out Iran, right? So when we think about who Iran is threatening, it's everybody that requires access to the goods and services coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. And that includes every country that you see here. Does that make sense? We got a pickle because we've got the same situation happening that has happened in the past, right? When Britain went to war, anybody watching Queen Charlotte? We talked about some of the political changes that had happened in Britain. Charles I was executed under pressure by Oliver Cromwell, who led to the massacre of the Irish. Court fell into disarray. They brought in Charles II, who was a womanizer. They had escaped to France. Charles I's children, because they thought they were next to be beheaded because their mother was a French Catholic, I believe. They brought back Charles II. He was a womanizer. And they brought back his son. All kinds of crises, right? The court was in crisis, right? Because of the damage that was done by the crazy of Oliver Cromwell. We talked about this. What'd they learn the hard way? They learned by being fanatics and extremists that they were going bankrupt and they couldn't get their trade out. So who were the traders? Who were the people that had the money from trade? The Moors, right? You see that SNL episode? The Moops, right? The Moors, those black people, right? Those scary black people controlled the trade route, right? I'm speaking tongue in cheek. This is how they thought back then. The scary black people, right? So, what was the great experiment? Great experiment is we better start bringing Africa into a relationship with England, or we're not going to make it because we've just lost the Northwest Passage. We've lost the United States. The Spaniards hate us. They never got over the sinking of the Spanish Armada, right? In an attempt to get through that trade route. The Rock of Gibraltar, right? There's Africa. There's Africa. There's Spain. And there's the Rock of Gibraltar. You had all these Africans coming in and took control of Spain for 400 years. And they brought art and music and literature and hygiene. You hear that in history books, do you? So when Ferdinand and Isabella took control, they threw out the hygiene. You didn't have to wash anything. The backside, your meat, you could just eat it, right? With blood and all. So all these wealthy people with these trade routes, they settled in other parts of Europe and they continued to do trade. Well, this led to unbelievable economic problems for the North. So some of those Moors moved to Holland and helped invest in the Dutch India Company, right? The Dutch India Company, the East India Company. Bloody Moors. So they were trying to save Britain and offering new opportunities to reopen trade, or they were going to collapse as a country. And that was Queen Charlotte. So many of those black people, right? They were scared of them, right? That had come in from these areas and had taken Spain, took their trade money and invested in trade companies, right? And they were given titles under King George's reign and also Queen Charlotte. To save the disaster that was the extremism of Oliver Cromwell and Bloody Mary and all the other crazy cuckoo barrels. And they embraced science. They were moving towards science and reason and integration and tolerance. Right? So here we have the same thing happening all over again. Only now the problem is Iran. Iran wants to control all that trade and hold it for themselves and then use the money to do what? Spread their cult. You can marry a 9-year-old girl if you want to. Have everybody in burqas worshiping Ali Khamenei, right, as the messenger of God, right? So all these other countries are being terrorized by proxy armies created by Iran. So what did Iran do? It took its money and it began to build up armies. Built up an army in Yemen, the Houthi. The Houthi army was created by Iran and it was firing on a number of people, but specifically it was targeting Saudi Arabia. And so this is why Obama was sending drone wars in to help Saudi Arabia was being attacked by Iran via the Houthi. The Houthi are also firing on Israel. It's over here, right? That little tiny dot, that's Israel. Little tiny dot. Those Jews all ran to Israel. Now, why did the Jews all run to Israel? They ran to Israel because they were kicked out of Egypt. They were kicked out of the Sudan. They were kicked out of Eritrea. They were kicked out of Yemen. They were kicked out of Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, in a genocide against the Jews. Afghanistan, Iran, all the Jews were driven out. So where did they go? They went to this little tiny dot to hide out. And then they decided to wipe the dot off the map, right? The reason why Modi and Trump are having a conversation is because they need military troops to take the strait finally and end this embargo. It's not the only thing that Iran did. Iran also built up Hezbollah, northern Syria. In Lebanon. Right? So now we have Hezbollah, which is a proxy army of Iran, in northern Syria at war with the Syrian government. But we also have war with Lebanon, right? They also took over Lebanon. The beautiful north, the cedars of Lebanon, right? Here's Damascus, here's Haifa, here's Lebanon. So in addition to building up the Houthi and Hezbollah in Lebanon, by the way, the Christians fled. They killed all the Christians, just as they're killing all the Christians on the West Bank. That's why Christians can no longer go to Bethlehem, Nablus, or Nazareth, because Palestinians do have a state. They just want more. It's under Palestinian control. It's not under Israeli control. And the Israelis left Gaza in 2005. So now we've become even tinier, right? So in addition to firing on everybody and killing all the Christians in Lebanon, Hezbollah, which is an army of Iran, also began to build up Hamas out of Gaza, fearing for their safety. Cairo closed this area here because weapons were coming in through the Sinai, weapons that would be used to take out the Jewish state. So they closed that border right there to make sure that Hamas and Islamic Brotherhood, paid for by Iran, wasn't going to come in and begin firing on people. So the powers that be decided that they didn't want to go to war with each other anymore. They just had one little problem. They had to take out Iran. And that's what they're doing. So then the conversation became, well, why aren't they helping? Well, you're not helping us with Zelensky in Europe. That's the deal. To build an Oasis zone in the Donbass and join it with the Abraham Accord, Oasis zones, and secure trade routes that was being created, that Modi very much wants to be a part of. So basically, if Modi wants to be a part of this, he's going to have to take control of this area, the Strait of Hormuz. That means we need his troops. You can see how vulnerable Dubai is. So what do you think the response from Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates is? Take them out, right? Take them out. Now, a lot of people want to tell you stories. A lot of people want to make stories up. They want to make up stories about Israel. They want to make up stories about all kinds of things. But a lot of those stories are coming from Iranian propaganda. Iranian will put propaganda in the mix, and then they feed it a lot to liberals and progressives. Like Zenk, who's a huge supporter of Iran, even though they have 9-year-olds being sold as sex slaves. Who cares? Let's pretend it's a real functioning country. The sad thing is that most of these countries are dictatorships. There's a couple Europeans in there, but most of these countries, Modi is barely holding on. He's the mayor of Gaza, He's the mayor of Gaza. There's somebody sitting on both sides of the fence, Emmanuel Macron, who wants that trade route. Georgia Maloney, she thinks you should drop a nuclear bomb and be done with the whole thing. Wink, wink. Your Stammer is a person. I'm sorry, but he is. He's trying to be nice to everybody, and that's not going to work. Our Carney is scared, right? Turkey, he's a dictator. Democracy is barely holding on under him. He needs to go. Same with Orban. They'll happily steal democracy from their countries in order to stay in power. Spain has a huge anti-Semitism problem and always has. They threw out uh, in 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue, right? Norway very concerned about her security. That's a dictatorship with slaves. They have slaves. They'll take your passport away from to work there. They will work you to death. They'll rape you. They'll do whatever they like. They do not have the right to vote in the UN. If you can't grant democracy, if you can't do away with slavery, then you have no right to vote in the UN. Which means that 61 countries are currently voting in the UN should not be there, in my opinion. So, I may not be entertaining you. I may be losing subscribers. But that's what's really going on. That is the truth. That is what is really going on. And that is why Elon was in a meeting. Now they're denying it. I wasn't. Yes, you were. And we all know you were. We all know you were there. We all know why you were there. You were there because you were an investor. Because you've always been an investor. An investor in the new Gaza, the new trade route. But the problem is, Mr. Musk, you got a little Iran problem going. So he's going to have to take out Iran. And they can't do that unless they get help from Modi, unless they can get troops from India on the ground dealing with this, right? That's the truth. That's the truth that no one wants to tell you. But we will tell you the truth. We will tell you the truth because I'd rather tell you the truth than be popular. And there's the new trade route. It was leaked. Smart manufacturing zone. Zone 4, 5, and 6. You also took zone 2. You see the red dot there? That's the water. This line right here is Kerem Shalom. It's going to be a subway system there. That's the truth, folks. So, if Modi can help, they can secure the trade route faster, right? So, what is that going to look like to you in practical terms? How can we, how are we going to benefit in practical terms? How is the world going to benefit from this new trade route? Let's take a look at the original map. I know. It's funner to just be told stories, but when the stories are anti-Semitic Jew hatred coming from Iran, and you've got readers being pumped, and they don't even know that they're re-spouting Iranian propaganda at that point, it's not fun for me. Here was the original. Piece of paper is an historical document now. Isn't that cool? So, what did we learn? What did we learn from this horrible nightmare, this war? We learned the real reason for the war, right? We learned the real reason. And what is the real reason for the war? To open up trade and to stop being held hostage by some crazy cult that's claiming we haven't been in a war since 1845. Really? You weren't fighting with, I believe, Iraq, sending 12-year-olds to die during your war with Iraq? Never mind all the proxy armies you've been propping up, right? So people lie, particularly people that have no moral compass, like um, like the current administration. What's left of the current administration in Iran, right? You can see from the doves, Elon bought most of them, bought most of those zones. All right, let's yield the floor. I yield the floor. Let's have a conversation. Trump pissed off our NATO allies is why they're not helping him in Iran. Absolutely true. But at the same time, if you want that trade route, you're going to have to make a deal with people, right? You're going to have to make a deal. Yeah. They're going to have to pony up. They're going to have to pony up. Okay, so that's what's really going on. I want to make an amendment. Of course, I'm not popular. I tell you the truth. People don't want the truth. They want to be entertained, and it's popular to hate the Jews right now, thanks to Iranian money being poured into Columbia University and everything else. So, but that's all over. And now people are going to change, and they won't know why. They won't know. They won't understand any of why that their opinions are about to change on Iran, because Iranian money is being removed from the universities, from the schools, and as the Iranian government collapses, so too will its media campaign. So you can say Bye-bye to Zank over at TYT, who's getting funded, and everybody else who took money from Iran. Pedo capital of the world, right? It's the pedo capital of the world. So marriage at 9 includes Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, parts of Iraq. These are the pedo capitals of the world, right? All right, I want to make an announcement. We have a new, I know, isn't it sick? Couldn't happen to a more horrible group of people. Um, we have a new book of the month. We want to give a shout out to Carolina Montague. Carolina Montague, what an amazing job you have done. Her book is Door in the Sky, and there's a sec. If you're really, I'm really into this kind of writing. Anybody here read Mist of Avalon? I love Mist of Avalon. Or anybody into Beatrice Small? I love Beatrice Small. These are intellectual romantic. Kathleen Woodwise, also an intellectual romantic writer. Think about the top intellectuals who write romance. You think about Beatrice Small and Kathleen Woodwise. They're academics, they're intellectuals. I think Woodwise has a master's in history. So if you love that kind of intellectual romantic, um, who uh, who wrote The Mist of Avalon? Mist of Avalon. There's another one to check out if you love historical. Um, oh, that was Marion Zimmer Bradley, also great intellectual. I like this stuff when it's done by intellectuals. Anyway, yeah, fantasy, but it's well written. Highlander. Do you like Highlander? Okay, so Door in the Sky. Thank you, Caroline. We look forward to interviewing you probably in May. Your interview will be in May as we will be out of the country. We're taking the Oracle of Whimsy on the road for a couple of weeks. For a second book, if you get through this, you are like, I got to know what happens. It's very well written. The Scarlet Oak is the second book in the series. It's about witches in the 13th century, 14th century in France when they were burning witches. My voice is garbled. Oh, I know why. How's that? Is it better? I had something running. Is that better? Yeah, I had some music running. Sorry about that. My voice was garbled that whole time. Well, that's a drag. Okay, but did everybody understand what I was talking about? Please don't make me have to explain it again. Okay. Yeah, I had some music playing on the other one. So listen, does everybody get it? Does everybody get what happened? You guys got it, right? You guys got the whole point of all of this, right? It's we're opening up a new trade. It's not just about trade. I want to be very clear, it's not just about trade. It's about a group of lunatics that were increasingly dangerous. If they are funding the Taliban and the Taliban is trying to get access to nuclear weapons on the Strait of Hormuz is being blocked, then we're in serious trouble. If Pakistan with its nukes falls, so this is why it kept Obama up at night, because he honestly didn't know how to take control of Iran. And the Iran deal didn't help. They did not stop exploring nuclear weapons, and they were funding Afghanistan, which was encroaching on Pakistani soil, with the intent of taking their nuclear weapons. So they didn't even have to build a nuclear weapon. Iran did not have to take a nuclear weapon. All Iran had to do was take somebody else's nuclear weapon through the Taliban. So never mind that they were firing on our allies, that they were building proxy armies that were attacking the entire area with an intent to they were taking control of the world. Never mind that they were taking control of the strait. And so something had to be done, but nobody had the balls to do it. That's the truth. Nobody had the balls to do it. And so the powers that be decided that the person crazy enough to do it was Donald Trump, and so that's what they did. That's what happened. That's the truth. I guess my question to you is, now that you know the truth, and nobody else seems to, including the newspapers, how do you feel about the truth? Is there another way we could have taken them down? Is there another way we could have put a stop to Iran's aggressive attempts to take over the world? Would they have succeeded eventually in wiping out Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Pakistan, and their nukes? Yes, they would have eventually succeeded if nothing had been done. Which is why there's no deal to be made with the Taliban, right? There's no deal to be made with the Taliban because they're religious fanatics, and the only deal they want is world domination, right? So there's no deal to be had. I apologize about the sound problem. My apologies for that. Oh, I'm really sorry I screwed that up. I hope you guys could hear me. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the empath prayer, and then we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. Thank you all for being here and enjoying brunch with me. Hopefully we'll have a rollicking good time. How does the truth sit with you? You have the truth. You know the truth. That's the truth. No, the prime minister is not dead. He's alive and well, but he's probably going to lose the next election. But we have a parliamentary system similar to the British system, which means what? It means that he would remain in parliament, but he just won't be the first seat. He'll be the first seat of Likud, but Likud is not going to win. It's probably going to be Naftali Bennett, right? Well, Naftali Bennett thinks everybody should serve in the military. I think that's a good start, but he's another Republican. I mean, like, he's similar to the Republicans, right? So blue and white has fallen apart. Unity has fallen apart, which is very frustrating. When Gantz left the war cabinet, I think he wasn't happy with Elon Musk and Netanyahu's plans for Oasis. It wasn't what the original model was. The original model was inclusion. And maybe, I believe Gantz saw some things in the rebuild that made him uncomfortable as a liberal, and he walked out. But that's bad for us, right? Because we are unity people. We support unity. So I was very unhappy to see him leave, because that was the party I was backing, right? Let's do the empath prayer. If you would like to receive a healing at this time, go ahead and give us your name or the name of someone that you would like us to include in our prayers today as we bring in the empath prayer. And yeah, let's go ahead and blitz, blitz, blitz away. Yeah, your name or the name or name of someone you want us to pray for. We'll happily include them in our prayers today. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of you today who are requesting a healing, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. Well, do you think we should move away from politics as a channel and move more towards spirituality and how to lift people up? I feel that politics have kind of run their course on this channel, and I'm just not into it. I'm not into the politics game. I'm into data. I'm into data and facts. And I think it's really sick and unhealthy to turn our politics into a soccer match, which is what CNN did. CNN started this whole boxing back and forth between the parties. Meanwhile, the facts get lost somewhere in the shuffle because everyone's focusing on my party's going to win rather than what are the facts? Can we start to get bills passed that, are not based on a bunch of lobbyists with self-interest selling us a bunch of crap we don't need? Can we just get back to what's best for the country and move away from politics? And I don't think we've done that. I think we are all just getting into our little holes of Republicans are evil, Democrats are libtards, Democrats are libtards, repugnant. I don't want to hear it here. I'm so done with politics. I just don't give a damn. Because it's all both. Everybody lies in order to get their party to win rather than what's best for the country. And I think it's really toxic. And I don't want to do it anymore. I know some people, they're gung ho. My party, right or wrong. And boy, you came to the wrong place because I'm just not into it. What's the data say? The data says that Iran is an obstacle to the cure. It's an obstacle to the cure. The whole world needs to dismantle Iran. They are a global threat. We cannot contain a nuclear war to just Kashmir. It's not going to happen. When those lunatics get control of nukes. And then we are all at the mercy of this cult where everybody's walking around in burqas with only one eye showing. You want them to get a hold of nukes? We better do something fast. We have to do something. We better do it pretty damn quickly. That's objective reality. the way that they were able to seduce the left in Tehran, because they took over Tehran University, was they convinced these liberals at Tehran University that once they threw out the king, they were going to go, it was going to be democratic socialism all the way, and everybody was going to have free healthcare and affordable housing and everything else. And so the Green Party became the Muslim extremist party. They took over the Green Party, they took over the left. And then when they got control of it, there was they were no longer talking about saving the whales. They were trying to install as many Shia Muslims in positions of power as possible, because it was never, they don't give a damn about the whales. It was about tricking liberals and lefties into propping up the Iranian agenda. And the Iranian agenda was about putting women in burqas and believing that Ali Khamenei is a spokesman for God, and that it's okay to sexually molest babies and children, and he was a pedophile. And that phenomenon is happening all over the world, where Iran, they poured billions into education. Everything is the fault of the Jews. All the evils of the world are Israel. You have to destroy the Jews. If you have immigrants coming in from Pakistan and 85 to 90% of those immigrants hate the Jews and want to destroy the Jews, is that good immigration? Does that guarantee the safety of everybody? If you have large percentage of immigrants coming in that believe that any woman that's not in a burqa is a whore and a prostitute and deserves to be sexually assaulted, is that good for the security of a country? Are these values aligned with Western values? And why is the Democratic Party propping it up? Because that's where the money is. And that's a problem. Did MBS pressure Trump to finish off Iran? Absolutamente, 100%. He's tired of getting shot at by the Houthis, who are being armed by Iran. Of course. Did Netanyahu blackmail Trump to join Israel in the Iranian war? No, they want the money, honey, because Kushner helped negotiate this, and Kushner is smack dab in the middle of the Abraham Accords. I did it again. I hate when it does that. Here we go again. Same crap. I don't enjoy this at all. I just want to know, the many things I do here on this channel, offering you a second is the least enjoyable thing that I do in my career. This is the bane of my existence. Okay. I hate it. Because it's I don't know how to handle it, and no one's ever done anything to help me with this channel. I have received zero help from anybody showing me how to use these things. I have to do it all on my own. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you marry a sociopath. Okay. Let's take a look. All right. So we have stress and worry. It's upside down. It will never be right. I hate it with a passion. I hate having to do this. I think the big concern here is lack of support from the West, because two of wands is the Western alliance, right? So um, this looks to me like there's just stress. Trump has basically lost support from the Republican Party. Nobody knows what the hell is happening. I don't understand why they don't just tell the American people what is happening. Why don't you just tell the American people what's happening? Why does it take some lady with tarot cards? Why is it my job? Where the hell is the press? Why can't the press do their job? Why can't the press do their job? Why does the average American person not know about this trade route? Why is it my job, some lady playing with tarot cards, to tell people what the hell is happening? Do you know how stupid and weird that is? The level of dodo brain of our reporting, that that our reporters literally don't know what the hell is happening, and you have to have some lady with tarot cards. I just happen to be doing my second dissertation on this. I mean, it's ridiculous. Instead, people are just watching political boxing matches on YouTube. And you're not getting any information other than how to fight. I'm going to win. We're going to take out the repugs. We're going to take out the libtards. Fight. Two morons, right? Rather than looking at data. Well, do you really want to know what's happening or not? It's so frustrating for me. I think the stress here has to do with the West. Two of Wands is about importing an I'm sorry, you guys. I don't mean to take it out on you guys. I apologize. This whole thing is just beyond frustrating for me. And, Trump is losing his base because they don't have any jobs. The economy is tanked. People have no idea what the hell is going on. There's stress about whether or not the alliance will continue. Will we win? Yes. Will we get a new trade route? Yes. But inverted Six of Cups, we have seriously damaged our relationship with the West under this president. His attitude, his behavior has been seriously detrimental to the country. He has harmed our relationships with Europe for decades. That's the truth. And can we come back from this? I don't know. An inverted Six of Cups over importing and exporting and Western relationships, right? Because the Two of Wands directs towards the West. So, and foolish behavior on the part of Trump. I think people want Trump gone. And it does not bode well for our relationships. That's the truth, Yeah. Well, I don't think people like me at all. I've lost 1,000 subscribers because I told people the truth. People are screaming and yelling about school kids in Iran. That's Iranian propaganda. They were having meetings in schools to keep from getting bombed, the IRGC. People talk about the poor Iranian school children. Excuse me? The poor Iranian school children are married at 9, and you didn't care. drug off and sold because daddy lost a card game. That's Iran, but 1.7 million children being genitally assaulted on a daily basis under the age of 14. And you didn't say anything. Where were you then? So please don't cry about your poor Iranian school kids yelling at the people that are trying to put an end to this nightmare regime. You care about Iranian school kids. You should have said something years ago when they were assaulting the genitalia of 1.7 million schoolgirls and selling them as sex slaves. But you didn't, did you? Because you really don't care. Women being raped daily, having their genitalia assaulted in prisons on a daily basis because the morality, meaning the pedos in charge, decided to arrest the pretty ones. Oh, we thought we saw a strand of hair. I'm going to get that one. They only arrest the pretty ones. And then they all have fun. Help yourself. Free meat to eat. Yum, yum. Every day, genitally assaulted in the prisons of Iran. Executed after they're done with them. Drag them out. After you've raped her to your heart's content, you can drag her out and kill her. Where the hell were you then? Zank from TYT. You don't care. You never cared because they pay your bills. You don't care about the genital assault of millions of girls and women in Iran. It's an industry. It's a business. That's reality. You don't care. You just want to be politically correct. And that's the problem with politics. People that want to visit and be open-minded to visiting Kabul. They want to visit Afghanistan to be open-minded. You want to be open-minded by pouring your money into countries that enslave over half their population? Rather than spending your money in countries that have good human rights records? I'm sorry, I just don't get that. I'm not going to visit a country that has slaves or forces women into burqas. I would rather spend my money in countries that think women are people. Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states have joined Ukraine to bolster their defenses with Ukraine's experience and expertise with drone technology. Will the bear fruit for all involved? Let's take a look at Ukraine. Absolutely. Ukraine, as many of you know, would like to be part of the Abraham Accords, which is why Zelensky has suggested opening an Oasis zone in the Donetsk. I think it's a great idea, if I must say so myself. I like it. Saudi Arabia and Ukraine. Now we just have to work on Saudi Arabia having slaves, sex slaves, women drugged and kidnapped out of Ukraine and everywhere else. Taking away workers' passports who come in from the Philippines, working them to death. If a country is taking away your passport and using you for sex, the stories I've heard from maids coming in from the Philippines, all genitally assaulted daily, impregnated by their master. They drug one woman off a plane. She finally got her passport. She attempted to escape the man that had inseminated her. They drug her off the plane, forced her to remain in Saudi Arabia. Free meat. You're nothing but free meat. They don't consider you human. You're not a Saudi. You're not a Muslim. You are free meat to eat. Yum, yum. Help yourself, boys. You're not a person. You're an object. You're a toy. If you have a policy like that, if that's your attitude, then you have no voting rights in the UN. You have no right to be talking about Israel or any other country. That's objective reality. Same with Qatar. MBS loved Epstein. Everyone's talking about Israel and Epstein. Epstein hated Israel. The emails are, screw the Israelis. He was at war with the Israelis. He entered into a relationship with Ehud Barak because Ehud Barak was at war with the government. He was in bed with MBS. He was sending slaves to MBS for MBS's private island. MBS loved him so much. There was love letters back and forth between MBS and Epstein, gave Epstein a passport, a Saudi passport. Israel was involved with their private security too, with terrorizing some of the victims of Weinstein. Catch and kill. Expose them all. Drag them out. I don't give a damn. And I say that as an Israeli. Expose them, shame them, drag them through the streets. Lock them in prison. I think that Saudi Arabia is in economic trouble. One of the reasons they wound up in economic trouble is because they wouldn't let women to work. Women finally were allowed to work, but unfortunately they started getting raped at work because men couldn't handle the fact that there were all these women at their jobs. So they started raping them, right? So there was all these sexual assault cases. So women finally got allowed to work, but they were being raped at their jobs. Or they were being raped by their driver because they weren't allowed to. Oh, it's not modest. Women mustn't drive. Hire a driver. Great. So they get in with the driver. The driver drives them out in the middle of the desert, and they get genitally assaulted by the driver. That's Saudi Arabia. And if you report the rape, both are executed, both are beaten. The rape victim and the rapist are equally responsible according to Saudi law. So women keep their mouths shut, which means free meat to eat, right? Yum, yum, which means that every time you get into a taxi and you're a woman, there's a good chance you're going to be sexually assaulted because he knows you're not going to say a damn word, right? That's the Middle East. Knight of Swords is warring. It's a warring faction. Knight of Cups is an emotional queen. It's a desire for peace, but all around you see war, loss of the family, and frugality. So that's a problem. It infuriates me. Oppression of women, abuse of children. That's why I wrote the Oasis one, was to put a stop to it. And who came in? A bunch of men who are just as horrible as Mohammed bin Salman. They're the people that want to pay for it. Well, I'm not too happy about that. Mark my words, you don't learn to treat women like people, you're not going to have an economy. Look what happened during the time of, I can't do this. Look what happened. Look what happened during the time of Queen Charlotte, right? Their bigotry bankrupted them, right? They were bigots and they bankrupted themselves by being bigots. Bigotry, whether you're bigoted against a gender or bigoted against a race or whatever, when you start excluding and oppressing education in your population, you're going to pay for it financially. That's just objective reality. Again, get off politics and just start looking at data. I don't want to be your friend until you can get your act together, Saudi Arabia. I know they want to be part of the Abraham Accords. What you want is you want the West to do your crap work for you. You're fighting with the Shia for the last how many hundreds of years? Since the 6th century? How long have they been fighting with the Shia? Get off your ass and help. Stop beating your wife half to death. That's another thing that Mohammed bin Salman did. He beat his wife half to death. He has 5 children with her. They're separated. He broke her ribs, put her in the hospital 2-3 times. They're all alike. Elon wanting to forcibly breed the pretty blonde girls, right? They're all sick. These are sick guys, and they're all on drugs. So the only moral person in all of this appears to be Zelensky. Zelensky evidently does not cheat on his wife. Zelensky evidently, it's a love match. He adores his wife. He's just madly in love with his wife. And he's an ethical man who's willing to stay and fight to save his country, right? So, but Saudi Arabia is a disgusting country. It has a disgusting history, and so nobody wants to help them. This feels to me like they will force them into a deal, that they're trying to force Russia into a deal. There's another one. Putin, he's a drug addict, right? Real strong evidence that he was shooting heroin since his days in East Berlin, right? When they were smuggling heroin into West Berlin, right? Kidnapping women out of Ukraine and selling them as sex slaves. And, he was totally into it. This is not going to go well, particularly if you look energetically at what's happening to women's rights globally. If you don't start treating women like people, you're not going to be around much longer. That's the bottom line. Treat women like people or cease to exist. There's your option. Treat women like people or you will cease to exist. There you go. You're not a victim. It's like Elon Musk. Well, wouldn't it be great if we could create a society where women don't hate men and all this feminist crap where women hate? Here's a suggestion, Elon. You want women to stop hating men, stop forcing them into burqas, and stop doing business with countries that force women into burqas. Start prosecuting rape. Don't humiliate us with bake sales in Texas because you don't have the money to analyze the rape kit. So we have to have bake sales. Maybe if you would take the abuse of women seriously, then we wouldn't hate you so much. There you go. There's your answer, Mr. Musk. Sorry, but that's how I feel. You're not being popular, Whimsy. All right. Is the U.S. trying to get Ukraine to accept a peace deal with the demand that Ukraine give up eastern Donbass? Probably. Don't you think so? U.S. and the Donbass. I think that it's more that Putin's going to have to take that deal. I think if Putin wants the deal, Putin is going to have to take the deal. Will Nancy Guthrie case be solved soon? Let's take a look. I feel like they know who did it. I've always felt like they know who did it. Yeah, I think they will find some, but I think they know who did it, and I think that it's tied to a series of break-ins that had happened in the past, possibly this April or the end of April, I would think, because the April card is there. Is the U.S. trying to get you? Okay, we already did that one. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm still recovering from this stomach bug, so I'm a little cranky. My apologies. Don't mean to take it out on you. I can't suffer abuse of children. It just makes me, and women's rights and being gaslit that we're imagining that we as women are just, oh, you're just imagining it all. You should like men. Yes, we love being stripped of our autonomy over our own bodies. Yeah, that's great. Take control of my uterus and forcibly breed me while I have a smile on my face. I was like, come on, man. Talk about being in denial about how abusive you are. I can't stomach it. You know, folks, I'm sorry. Because I'm a feminist. In plain words, I'm a woman who has self-respect. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. I don't mean to take it out on you guys. I'm sorry. Nothing makes me angrier than child abuse. I will go ballistic. Hi, Colleen. Good to see you. Thank you so much for those lovely gifts. That was very kind of you. I don't like perfume gives me a headache. I try to use natural perfume, like essential oil. She got it right. Wendy got it right. Very good, Wendy. It was the trade routes. I'm surprised anybody watches me with my bad mood. Thank you. At last, someone's telling the truth because they are all snakes and don't care what the people think or say. Very good. Very good. Oasis now. Amen. Amen, brother. Amen to that. But who's going to control it? We got to take control of all these crazy lunatics in Saudi as well, and Qatar, and every other country where women are not people. The best thing women can do is get educated and make money and take control of the controller. Money, education. It's not about right or wrong, it's about power. If you have power, people will let you do whatever the hell you like. I learned that lesson when I lived in Hollywood. They let actors get away with murder. Well, he can do it because he's famous. It was a double standard. If you were a famous actor, you could rob, steal, harass. Well, do you have any idea who I am? Yeah, you're a pig. It was just this, just horrible abuse, horrible civil rights violations going on every day in LA because people are actors. So I was there during the Me Too movement. There's so many actors were doing whatever the hell they like. Jeremy Piven, he was one of them that got outed for being a jerk. Yeah, so, and it's just sad. It's just sad. Hollywood has always protected their pedophiles. Hollywood has always protected their pedophiles and their creeps and their sleazy producers because of fear that they won't get a job, that they'll be blacklisted, that they won't get work. And so you keep the dirty secret. And so you had these dirty old men that were controlling, that were high up in Paramount and Warner Brothers and MGM and all. They had all the power, and so they raped everybody. It's like Marilyn Monroe said, I spent a lot of time on my knees to get to where I was. She was basically passed around. Sexual abuse was common, the casting couch, right? So what I found with professional female actresses was they went to great pains constantly. The pressure was on them to be as professional as possible so that they would not be raped or assaulted during auditions. You know, not to be lured into that room by Weinstein. You don't need to be having meetings in someone's hotel room. Iran is like the third largest country. They have at least 20% of the oil, have just discovered gold deposits, the second largest in the world. And yeah, great. So they should be using that money not to have sex with little children. They shouldn't be controlled by a cult of pedophiles and rapists that want to kill the Jews. They're Nazis. Everything is the fault of the Jews. Take some personal responsibility for how you wound up in the situation you're in right now. And that includes every country in the Middle East, which has been persecuting Jews, calling for the genocide of the Jews, and then blaming the Jews. Take some personal responsibility for what you've created for yourself. The Jews of Algeria, what happened to them? Where did they go? Where are the Jews of Algeria? They used to have a Jewish quarter there. Where are the Jews? There used to be Jews in Morocco, but they're all gone now. Where are the Jews? Where are the Jews of Morocco? Where are the Jews of Algeria? Where'd they go? The Jews of Tunisia, where did they go? The Jews of Afghanistan, where did they go? The Jews of Iran, where did they go? The Jews of Egypt, where did they go? The Jews of Yemen, where did they go? What happened to those Jews? The Jews of Iraq, where did they go? The Jews of Saudi, where did they go? Muhammad married a Jew, Caliph, his first wife. Where did the Jews of Saudi go? The Jews of Lebanon, where did they go? Where did the Jews go? You killed your Jews. You drove them out. Where could they go? They went back home. Then what did you do? Decided you were going to exterminate them in their own homes and call it genocide against you. There comes a point when you have to take personal responsibility for how you wound up in your current situation. You allowed Hezbollah to enter into Lebanon. Lebanon has to take some responsibility. Same with Syria and the collapse of Syria under Assad and his anti-Semitic blame everything on the Jews, right? Which led to horrible human rights violations against Jews in Syria. Never mind the horrors that were happening in Egypt and Tunisia and Afghanistan and Morocco. 500,000 Jews, Morocco left, went to Israel, kicked out, right? Not allow Jews to even enter Saudi. Comes a point when you can't blame everybody else. Comes a point when you can't blame the Jews. There comes a point when it's a reckoning. There's only so many times when the Jews can win, beat the crap out of you. Eventually you decide now you want to make pretty, make nice. Okay, Abraham Accords, we won't try and kill you. Good. You won't try and kill us anymore. That's fantastic. Then I won't have to beat the crap out of you anymore. It's really very simple. From an Israeli perspective, it's very simple. You've decided you want to play pretty now, play nice, great. I won't have to crush your skull. I won't have to beat the crap out of you anymore. That's the Israeli response. Might be harsh, but we will survive. We will survive. They don't want a second state. They don't want, we offered them a state. Carter offered them a state. Clinton offered them a state. They didn't want it. They wanted the river and the sea. They wanted all Jews exterminated. They wanted to gas and kill all the Jews. That's why they invaded on October 7th, to kill all the Jews. Might not be what people want to hear. They want to hear something else. They want to blame the Jews because they've been bought out by Iranian propaganda in the universities. But that's the truth. Do you want to be popular or do you want to be right? Yes, very true. Do you want to be popular or do you want to be right? Come to Israel and see for yourself. Come see for yourself. You can't go to Bethlehem. They drove the Christians out of Bethlehem. See, the Palestinians do have territory. They do have a country. They do have a land. Do something with it. We gave them, they took Bethlehem, which was a Christian city. They drove the Christians out. They took Nablus and Nazareth, where Jesus was born. These are Jewish lands traditionally. They drove the Jews out. They drove the Christians out. And now Christians are being slaughtered, and there's no more Christians left. And that's why you can't go to Bethlehem. Kiss my ass. No, why would he demand his money back from Kushner? No, he's part of that doesn't make any sense. I don't even understand that. No, of course not. He wants to be part of the Abraham Accords. Doesn't make any sense. No, not Pakistan. No, it's part of the trade route out of the Strait of Hormuz. Let's see how long before we see the toppling of Iranian regime. Yeah, people would want to be brainwashed. I don't know. Go to Israel, see for yourself. Don't believe me. Go look for yourself. Regime change. Inverted 10 of Cups. The family divided. Control over the resources, hopes and fears. And then the final outcome is Four of Pentacles. They may survive in certain pockets. Four of Pentacles is a frugality card. It's to draw back. Ace of Swords. Some refuse to surrender. We're probably going to win this thing pretty soon, though. You might have pockets. There's the fighting. They can flee to Afghanistan. Pakistan is kicking them out. Pakistan doesn't want them, but I think we're probably going to be in pretty good shape by next year. I think it's also that people are getting tired of being fired on by a psychopathic cult that wants to take over the world. And maybe if they were firing at the US, Americans would start to get it, but they're not. Out of sight, out of mind, right? It's not my kid that's being raped. It's not my kid sitting in a prison cell in Tehran because she's pretty and they decided that she had a strand of hair, arrest her so that we can all gang rape her and then we'll drag her out and hang her from a crane when we're done with her. Right? It's not happening to my kid, but one day it will be happening to your kid. That's what we're saying. If you don't put a stop to it, one day it will be your kid. The Epstein files. Epstein files. I'm seeing very angry women in positions of power taking control over this president. And I just see that Queen of Wands coming in, and that's like Oshun, and this investigation with Seven of Pentacles and the hidden being revealed. I feel like women are so angry and good. Be angry. Be angry. Be angry about what's going on in Iran. Be angry about what's happening to women in the Middle East, and be angry about what's happening here. Be angry and zero tolerance for any country or any place that oppresses women. Be non-apologetic and hold every country accountable that treats women like don't be open-minded. If Pakistan has women in burqas and if a 12-year-old girl is getting inseminated by a dirty old man and that's acceptable, then you don't need my money. I don't want to be tolerant of countries that don't treat me like a person. When you get your act together, then we'll talk about whether or not I'm going to spend my US dollars in your country. Let's see. Figure this out. Figure this out, and then we'll come visit your country. Figure it out. You want my money? Put a stop to that. If you put a stop to that, then maybe your tourism will improve. Does that make sense? I'm angry for her because I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. I care about that little girl. I'm not a hypocrite. And I'm really getting tired as a feminist of being told that I have to sit in the back of the bus and tolerate some little kid being raped because it's their culture. And that makes me angry as a radical feminist. I have zero tolerance for it. I don't care who you are. That little girl should not be pregnant. From some dirty old man that's been playing with her. She should be in school, getting an education. And you should be angry too. Little girl doesn't even know how to wipe her own nose. And this freak, this pervert who paid for her probably at a card game. She can't read, she can't write, she can't do anything. She's a slave. She's a sex slave, a little girl. Raped, inseminated by this creep who's standing next to her. And you should be angry too. And not look away. Don't look away. Move away from politics and move towards justice. Both parties are corrupted. Very true. But the good news is we have technology in order to ID the mines, and so we can detonate them. We have the technology to take care of that. I tell the truth, babe. I'm not popular, but I will tell you the truth. This is how I feel. I'm not interested in backing Iran because Iran's going to win. No, Iran's going to be erased. That's the truth. Iran's going to be erased because nobody is going to put a stop to that trade route. And Modi wants a piece of the pie. He wants this nightmare of Iran. Everybody wants the nightmare of Iran to be finished. I'm not yelling at you guys, by the way. My apologies. I'm just angry when I see kids raped. I'm angry when I see pedophilia, when I see everybody, and I'm really getting, and I get even angrier when I see people telling me that I should somehow be open-minded, that it's their culture. I don't want to be open-minded. And I'm sorry if that makes me an unpopular person. But I hope that I thoroughly humiliate the oppressors and the entire world knows what's going on and they are shamed and continue to boycott those countries and don't give them one frickin' penny until they clean up their human rights. Stop taking away your workers' passports, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates. You don't have a right to be in the UN. Kick them out. Same goes for Pakistan. Throw them out. 61 dictatorships in the UN. Attacking Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East. Throw them out. Kick them out. Egypt's a joke. It's a military dictatorship at this point. Let's take a look. Some people like me, the people who know the truth. But we want to hate Jews. You took our toys away. We want to blame it on the Jews. We don't like you because it's the one thing that conservatives and liberals have in common. We want to be popular. I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to take responsibility for the disaster that is the United States human rights record. I want to go and project all of my shame on a country I've never been to. Right? I don't want to feel bad about the fact that we've got over 500 nations currently being occupied. I want to blame the Jews, right? So it becomes this popular thing. It's part of the Russian church. It's popular. And who doesn't want to be popular? Who doesn't want to be popular?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Left-wing student with a placard and a frown says the world's on fire, but she can't put it down. Landlords, greedy daddies mean the Wi-Fi's slow. There must be someone pulling strings behind the show. She scrolls all night, the rabbit hole gets deep. Found a grainy meme that never lets her sleep. When your life's a mess and you're feeling rather small, we got the perfect cure to make you 10 feet tall. Losers, grifters, basket cases, every color, every creed, all the angry faces. Whatever's wrong in your life, it ain't you, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. Blame it on the Jews. It's the Jews. It's the Jews. Feel better now, don't you? Griper in his bedroom, pay on the wall, says the West has fallen and he's gonna take the fall. Girlfriend left him for a bloke who has a job. Globalists did it with their evil bank rob. He's got the charts, the graphs, the triple brackets too. 14 words and 88 will see him through. When your life's a mess and you're feeling rather small, we've got the perfect cure to make you 10 feet tall. Losers, grifters, basket cases, every color, every creed, all the angry faces. Whatever's wrong in your life, it ain't you, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. Blame it on the Jews. It's the Jews. It's the Jews. Feel better now, don't you? Back in 1400, the well went bad. The crops all failed and the priest was mad. The plague came rolling through the town. Quick, find a scapegoat, drag him down. Blood libel, matzah, all the old cliches. Still doing numbers in 2025 ways. Hey! Imam on the telly, veins popping in his neck. Says the Zionists control the weather. What the heck? Hamas lost again. The rocket misfired. Must be Mossad with a secret wire. From Tehran to Talks Tip, same old tune. Different century, still howling at the moon. Losers, grifters, basket cases, every color, every creed, all the angry faces. Whatever's wrong in your life, it ain't you, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. Blame it on the Jews. It's the Jews. It's the Jews. Feel better now, don't you? Oi! It's the Jews. Honest go. It's the Jews.
Ah, there you go. There you go. The problem is clear, right? All right. I'm having fun. See, you gotta have a sense of humor about it. All right. Bush Sr. built a coalition of Arab and European countries to force Iraq forces out of Kuwait. Trump failed to do so with Iran. True enough. 10,000 is not enough. No, we need Modi to come in to secure the new trade route. Some of us know what is happening. So why aren't other nations, Sunni nations, ponying up? They will, but they need to get off their royal asses and do something, and stop raping your children and actually contribute. I agree. Trump pissed off and NATO. Absolutely. We should be supporting Zelensky, and Putin has got to go. As Joel says, Putin has got to go. And Joel is right, because Joel knows what he's talking about. We are in World War III, no doubt. No, we are preventing World War III. We are preventing World War III. There's a huge difference. Trump, okay, we went through that. This is how you prevent World War III. World War III will be when the Taliban takes nuclear weapons from Pakistan. Then we will be in World War III. This is not going to end anytime soon. Starting seeds, and you can plant spring vegetables now. Ooh, how lovely. I agree. Let's plant vegetables and sing songs of praise to beautiful, beautiful Oshun. So we talk about Oasis, right? We talk about Oasis, and we talk about going back to this original concept of what Oasis was. What were the Bedouins doing when they were a matriarchy, when they didn't hate women, before patriarchy, before Islam took over? What were the Bedouins? The Bedouins were worshiping a female water deity who many of you are aware of the energy of Oshun. And so the idea was that men would create, sorry, I've got this, hold on. So the idea was that men protect the sacred space. So you have the yin and the yang, right? You have the yin and the yang. Women, in order to be in their power as women, need Oasis. We protect the sacred waters of the Oasis. The Oasis had waters that fed the people, and we planted and we extended the Oasis, because when you plant trees at the Oasis, it draws moisture, which expands the Oasis. And so the job of the male in Bedouin society was to protect the sacred space. So men protected the perimeter so that women could do the holy work of worshiping Oshun, cleansing the water, and creating a sacred space for the divine feminine to exist in the world. This was the original imagery of the Oasis. So when we talk about worshiping Oshun and we talk about worshiping Oasis, we're really talking about going back to the original model. The yin is in the center, is in the Oasis, and the yang protects the Oasis.
Ide were were nita Oshun. Ide were were. Ide were were nita Oshun. Ide were were nita ya. Ocha kidiba nita Oshun. Cheque, 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 nitaya, ide were were, ide were were nita Oshun, ide were were, ide were were. Ochakidiba Nita Oshun Cheke 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 Nitaya Ide Were Were Oshun, mother of the sweet waters. Oshun, I invoke you. Oshun, nourish my soul. Oshun, mother of beauty, teach me to love myself. Teach me. I am open to you, Oshun. Ide were were nita Oshun. Ide were were. Ide were. Ide were Oshun. Ide were were nita ya. Ochakidiba Nita Oshun Cheke 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 Nita ya Ide Were Were Ela é das águas doces. It's waiting. Oxum, das águas doces. Me deu ere, Oxum, Oxum, Oxum. Me deu ere. E deu ere, Oxum, Oxum. E deu ela é das águas doces. Oxum, Oxum. Oxum, das águas todas, Oxum.
Is war necessary? Is war necessary in order to create this space? Yes. We have come far from Oasis. We have come far from Oasis. We have gone far from the natural order. The reason that those women are able to do that is because the men are protecting them. The men are protecting the Oasis. The men have a sacred duty to protect women and children. Men have lost their purpose. The only thing an 11 or 12-year-old girl should be doing is playing in Oasis with her beads as a sacred child of God. That is the only thing a little girl should be doing. She should not be sold into sex slavery. When we do that, we have become so far from the natural order, it is questionable whether or not humanity will survive at all. If you've survived watching this long today, then I applaud you, because you're someone who wants the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. We will build Oasis or we will not survive. That's the truth. And you can do it in your own homes. Protect yourself, women. Protect yourself, men. Don't allow anybody. We are angry and upset because we have been traumatized, right? Because women have been trafficked. We've been kidnapped. We've been lied to. We've been defrauded. We've been beaten. We've been starved. Everything that should never happen to a child, right? I've heard the stories of many of the people who come here, and they tell me, they share their stories. None of that stuff should be happening. And yes, sometimes war is necessary. Sometimes war is necessary. It isn't what we want. It isn't pretty. But there are really, really sick people in the world that are going to do everything in their power to make sure that women aren't free, that little girls are not free. And that's why we fight, right? All right, so thank you for your love and support of this channel. If you are trying to get into meet, oh, you guys want to watch Paper Doll one more time? Or is it too upsetting? Should we close out with Paper Doll about the plight of girls in... some of you like Paper Doll. All right, so to remind all of us why we support this action, don't worry, she can go and take care of the MBS and Trump as well. It won't just be Iran that goes down, right? We'll go ahead and close with Paper Doll. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can find all that information by Googling Dr. Whimsy Anderson, Booksy. But I'll also later, I'll be sure and put all that information below. All right, my loves, stay strong out there. Freedom. Sometimes we have to fight to be free. Sometimes you got to fight to be free.
My hand shaking and frail, a wedding dress, a prison cell. They tie the knot, a silken thread. My childhood dreams already dead. I leave my teddy at the door. He said I can't see him anymore. The day the orders came, all girls are now fair game, hoping I would disappear. I am only 10 this year. No one hears, no one sees, just a girl on my knees. Freedom has left me all alone. I am a wife to a king without a throne. He forced my hand on my wedding day. He made me cry. He made me say that I was there of my free will that day. All the world stood still. I am in chains for my life. I'm a child, not a wife. The day the orders came, all girls are now fair game, hoping I would disappear. I am only 10 this year. No one hears, no one sees. Just a girl on my knees. Freedom has left me all alone. I am a wife to a king without a throne. The sun still shines, the birds still sing, but for me no joy they bring. A gilded cage, a heavy door, my liberation is no more. The day the orders came, all girls are now fair game, hoping I would disappear. I am only 10 this year. No one hears, no one sees. Just a girl on my knees. Freedom has left me all alone. I am a wife to a king without a throne. Paper doll on a lonely shelf, whispering secrets to myself. No one hears, no one sees. I'm just a girl on my knees. Come and save me, please. Won't someone save me, please?